Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of Leading Our Own Way with this week's guest, Carly Taylor. It's a powerful episode. They're always powerful. I say the same thing, but they are. They really, really are. Because today we're going to explore the life-changing principles of the acceptance and commitment therapy and how ancient Stoic wisdom connects with modern psychology. Carly shares intimate details about her personal journey and reveals how Japanese psychology has transformed her approach to coaching. You know, if you've ever wondered how your childhood experience shaped who you are today, this episode will open your eyes to some new perspectives. Anyway, here's Carly Taylor. I'm excited for you all. It's fascinating. I love this type of stuff. Here we go for part 2 with Carly. I've said it, and I keep saying, but you can. Stop saying you can't. You just can't yet. You just got to train your brain that you can. What could we say to that person? Because I guarantee it, someone will be sat there going, I can't. I just can't.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I would start small. Yeah. And maybe you just start off with once a day, you have half an hour without the phone and just notice how that feels. Notice your thoughts, notice that urge, because addiction, any addiction, you know, you've got to ride the wave of that urge.
You do.
And there will be a peak, but it will come down. So it's about riding that wave and getting to that peak and knowing that that's there and that you can hold on. And then, because after you've ridden the wave, it's like, oh, wow, I did it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then next time it'll be a little bit more.
Being uncomfortable.
Yes, yeah.
Even just counting how many times you say no as well.
Yeah.
You know, I said no once today, brilliant. Tomorrow I'm going to say no 3 times, you know, and before you know it, you're at the 10.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off. What did you say? Sorry, Carly.
I was just going to say, I think the hardest thing is for people to get their phones out of the room at night, especially their kids as well. I mean, if you've got your phone in your room, don't expect your kids to take their phones out of the room. But, you know, I know my 14-year-old son has told me that people are having conversations, 14-year-olds are having conversations at 1 or 2 in the morning. And to me, like, our kids do not have their phones in their room. They never have. In fact, they have got into this habit now of giving us their phones.
Brilliant.
At a certain time, and it's just we've just drummed that into them because they're, you know, and alarm clocks. It's like just buy an alarm clock. I got like an alarm clock and it costs $10. But you do not need your phone in your room because it will always your brain will always be wired with that connection to the phone, even if it's on airplane mode. Yeah. There is still. It's like somebody described it the other day. It's Pavlov's theory with the dog and the food. It's like if it's there, your brain just knows that it's there. And it's been one of the best things for my sleep is getting the phone out of my room. Like there is a remarkable difference. Sometimes I do have to have the phone in my room just if my teenage daughter is out and I just like to have it there because we don't have a landline. And my sleep is compromised. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you that.
Start off with getting the phone out of your room.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I'll admit I'm not quite there yet, but it's the more I speak to people, the more I want to experiment and do it. And I've worked on my sleep heavily. I've got a sleep mat, a pH mat, grounding mat on the bed. But I've been suffering with a bit of back pain, so I don't think I've felt the benefits of that yet. I'm trying to work on reversing that again because I've reversed it before with my ankylosing spondylitis pain. I've reversed it before. Yeah. And it's kind of a little experiment. It's come back because I think the water obviously acts as an anti-inflammatory in that area, and because it's been warmer and I've not got the same cold effect, it's not really benefiting me. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but that's where I've aligned my observational test with it and results with it, I suppose. I was going to ask you the question though, what are some of the things then that you do? I know I heard on the podcast the other day that you do the phone technique, not technique, but you know what I mean, keeping the phone out of the bedroom. What are some of the other things that you do to set yourself up well to help you lead your own way in a day then?
So my little mantra is the morning starts the night before. Oh. So a digital sunset. So I will have all screens off an hour before I go to bed. So that's when I start winding down. So that just allows that natural melatonin to kick in. I try to have the lights as dim as I can. I mean, when you've got a family around and everything, it's hard. Everyone's turning on lights.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's and just reading. It's just a little bedtime routine. It's just nothing major.
And it's simple,
just
isn't
very
it?
simple. Yeah.
And it's free. It's easy.
Yeah.
We've all programmed ourselves to go the opposite way, and people could think it's too hard, but we could do it. We really could, and it's so simple, isn't it? Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going back to you then again with what you do and how you lead your own way. What do you do as a professionally? Tell us all about what your day would look like and how you lead your way in society. Because you give quite a lot, don't you? You work with a lot of people as well.
Yes, yeah. So I do one-on-one coaching, and I do some presenting as well. As far as work goes, I've got I'm a mental fitness coach. So I have my clients, and I work with clients around. I'm trained in acceptance commitment therapy, or ACT, and also Japanese psychology. And both of those, obviously one's an Eastern approach and one's a Western approach, but both of them are around accepting or just knowing that our emotions and our thoughts, automatic thoughts, are just part of being human.
Yeah.
And not trying to fix them or fight with them, struggle with them, but allow them to be there while you turn your attention to what's important to you, which is values of what I was talking about, and you use those values as a compass. And maybe those emotions have to come with you for the ride. They're just kind of there, but you're not putting your full attention on them. And when I was studying Japanese psychology, I went over to I was actually based in the States, not in Japan, but the Zen Buddhist American who ran it, who had done a lot of training in Japan. And one of the first things he said was, your life is not based on your life is based on what you pay attention to. And I just thought, wow, I had never thought about this before, because we so often are so emotionally driven. We have an emotion and then that guides our actions. Whereas if we can just allow the emotions to be there, and so sort of backtrack a little bit, but Morita therapy is Morita-based therapy is what I've studied. To become a Morita therapist in Japan, it takes years and years and years of training. So I would never call myself a Morita therapist, but my training was based on Morita's philosophies. And he was very big on nature, and humans are a part of nature, just like the birds and just like your dog or just like the ants. We are part of nature. And this consciousness that we have, which differentiates us from the animals, and these emotions that come up are still part of nature. So to mess with them is like messing with nature. But our attention, if we are strategic with our attention, so where is your attention in any moment? Because so often our attention is inward. And if we keep focusing inward, it's like throwing fuel on the fire. The emotions get more intense. And there's research to back this now, because we know now what Morita was really saying back in the 1920s. We know now that what you pay attention to, your brain commits cells to. So we know this from a neuroscience perspective. So the more you pay attention to your anxiety, the worse your anxiety is going to get. The more you try and get rid of your anxiety, which is impossible to do. I mean, it will come and go and come and go. It's not going to stay around forever, but it'll keep coming back for all of us. The more we focus on fixing it, the worse it's going to get. So if we can allow it to be there, then the way we can live fully is to be able to have that experience, but also look outward. So we have inward focus attention, outward focus attention. We focus on the needs of the moment. What do we need to do right now? We focus on the world around us. It's like, so often I will do such a simple thing, like if I'm feeling anxious or I've got some fear or whatever that, intense emotions are coming up, I will look for the color blue. So I'll just look around. I'll go, okay, where's the color blue? It's like something big, the color blue, like the sky, or something really small.
So that's looking outwards.
That's looking outwards. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be color blue. It can be anything. Often there'll be a bird flying by, and it's just like, the goal is not to get rid of the anxiety, but you will notice when you do this, when you notice what's in your environment, which is very hard to see when you're focused so inward. There's kind of this like, oh, actually there's this world around me. Oh, yes, I'm feeling anxious. This isn't about ignoring or repressing emotions. It's like, yeah, it's there.
Yeah.
There's
Like tunnel
also,
vision, isn't it?
yeah,
A little
yeah,
bit,
it is. Yeah. So
but
we've got to
backwards.
expand our vision.
Yeah.
And it's expanding consciousness. You know, you're conscious of what's going on in here, but actually there's a whole lot of stuff out there. So I like describing it as a camera going on normal view to panoramic view.
Yes.
It's like all of a sudden your reality is expanded and go, yeah, okay, well, I am feeling this, but there's also all this other stuff going on around me.
Can I convert that then to something that we spoke about before we pressed record? I'm not anxious. I'm really excited, but I'm nervous about doing my first public speaking, which by the time this is aired, I'll have already done it. So I know I did good, guys. I did really well, by the way. But I'm nervous. I'm not so much nervous. It's more the lead up to it that I'm nervous about.
Yeah.
When I'm on there, I know I'll be fine because I've been on stage before, being a teacher. In front of assemblies, thousands of people and kids there and whatnot. I'm okay, but I still got nervous about going up. But once I got the mic and I started speaking, I was all right. And then you watch yourself back and go, "Oh, I'm actually better than I thought."
Yeah.
And I hate looking at. I don't watch these, by the way. I never watch back the episodes because I don't like it. But
see, maybe you should, because then you'll feel uncomfortable.
So I know. I knew you were going to say that. It's funny though. Actually, I did watch a vlog that I was on the other day for a good friend here in Melbourne, and I did actually listen to a podcast in the car that I spoke on, somebody else's, so I listened to theirs, not mine, and I actually was like, I was like, because I fear that I don't articulate myself very well.
I have that too.
All right, good. I'm not alone then. Perfect.
No.
But when I listen back, I don't mean this in an arrogant way. I was actually proud of myself. I thought, I'm better than I think. So I'm just trying to add value to myself, I suppose. But I want to be open about that, because this is what the podcast is all about, is being vulnerable, and I want everybody else to feel and see that too. However, going back to the example, I want to convert what you just said into my own scenario. So I'm looking inward. I'm getting nervous. I'm getting a bit, not anxious, but I am nervous about, I get a bit sweaty thinking, God, I'm on stage in 2 weeks. I need to get this done. Probably more nervous about the preparation, to be fair. But shall I going outwards then? Should I be maybe thinking about the smiles on people's faces when I'm there? Is that looking outwards versus me being nervous? If that makes sense.
I think that you've got to work out what works for you. But for me, so for starters, you're feeling nervous about going on stage.
Yeah.
If you had, so Marita talks about it's like two sides of a coin. So you have your fear, anxiety, nerves on one side of the coin, and then on the other side of the coin, there is a desire for something. Okay, and the coin, you can't have a coin without two sides. So you can't have one without the other. So I would say, and you can tell me whether I'm correct or not, but I would say that you are nervous because you want to do a good job. You want to be competent. You care about what you're doing. If you didn't care about it, you wouldn't be nervous.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I would do is I would not put so much focus on that side of the coin of the nerves, but turn the coin over, not ignoring the other side, but turn it over and going, oh yeah, I'm nervous because I care. Of course I'm nervous. And then if you look at confidence, you need trust in yourself. Trust is about competence. So you do the work. It's like, this is about this nervousness can be used as a motivation to for you when you step on that stage, you have done everything that you can to do the best job that you can, and you can't ask anything else. Whatever happens after that happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's focusing on what it is you care about. And this is with any emotion. If anyone's feeling, like I woke up the other day and I had a coffee, and I probably shouldn't have done that because I was feeling anxious and I didn't know why I was feeling anxious. And so I just kind of like, well, what's on the other side of the coin there? And I kind of figured it out. Not that I want to overanalyze it, but I think rather than just focusing on that one side, which is what we tend to do, we've got to focus on the other side, because that's going to be the action part. Okay, if somebody is socially anxious, what's on the other side of that coin? They care about connection. They care about belonging. They want to feel like they belong. So any emotion has something that we care about, and I think it's important that we balance that perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And I'll have to, I'm going to use that going forward, I think, for the next 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
So,
about, I mean, I'm the same. I've done presentations and I have been like, you sound like if you're talking about just being nervous, I felt like I was a crumbling mess.
all right, good. I'm not on my own then.
But I used my Sage and Gremlin as well. So I remember I was at the computer, I was working on the presentation with all the visual stuff. And that Gremlin was just piping up going, who the hell are you to be doing this? It's like, you're going to forget stuff. You're going to stuff, yada, 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 yada. And I literally told my Gremlin to go out and hang with the dogs. Like, and I know that sounds mad, but it actually worked because it meant I knew that I didn't need to focus on that. I didn't need to focus on that chat. I just needed to get on with what I needed to do. And it really, really helped.
And did you do well?
I did.
There you go. It worked. I did really well on the event a few weeks ago, by the way. It was awesome.
Excellent. I'm so proud of you.
Travel back in time. Not really done it yet. So let's go back to your let's go back to your because I want to know a little bit more about the ACT and Marita. Have you finished with Marita? Sorry, is there anything more to add around Marita?
Oh, look, I'll probably interweave Marita into this chat.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like it. So, ACT, acceptance commitment therapy.
Yeah. So we refer to it as ACT. The purists don't like calling it ACT.
Sorry.
It's ACT. You'll get in trouble.
I didn't know.
It's ACT because it's around action.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
So ACT was created by Stephen Hayes in the 1980s. He's a clinical psychologist. He really struggled with panic attacks and anxiety and the same with Marita, actually. He was had a lot of sort of neurosis, and so that was what motivated them to use their skills to create these frameworks. And so Stephen Hayes, it's accept. The accept part is to accept that there are things in life that you cannot control.
Yeah.
The commit part is about committed action. So you commit to action. Based on what's important to you, your values, and then therapy. But I like to call it training because I believe everybody can benefit from ACT. These are daily life skills that you can use. And there's also ACC now, which is acceptance commitment coaching, because it works so well. There are psychologists that are trained in ACT, but there are also a lot of coaches now trained in ACT because it is an approach that's just works beautifully in the coaching context.
Yeah, beautiful.
So yeah,
and do you use these when you're with your clients? I'm assuming you bring all of these into your practice.
Yes, yeah, I do. I mean, every client is unique,
of course,
and every client responds differently. So I like to tailor the approach just according to what the client needs. I'll also bring in Stoicism because Stoicism is the 2,000-year-old philosophies. You know, back then they didn't have a psychologist. If you had a problem, you went to your local philosopher. And a lot of our modern day psychological approaches like CBT are actually based on Stoicism. So there is so much wisdom. It amazes me that people who lived 2,000 years ago had the same problems that we have now. Yeah, and so it is so relevant as it was back then. And it's become quite popular. Like I'm sure a lot of your listeners will know Stoicism from Ryan Holiday, and it's been brought into kind of mainstream now. So I will even bring in that because all the Stoicism, the Marita therapy or Marita-based therapy and ACT, they all intertwine. So yeah, and the beauty of ACT though is that there is an actual framework there. So depending on where the client's at, they've got what's called the hexaflex, and which is the model that you use. So you can go anywhere on this model, just depending on where the client's at in that moment.
It's amazing what our ancestors did. You know, tens of thousands of years. Even breathwork's been around for tens of thousands of years, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like we've chosen a chapter of life, just kind of put it because it's old school. We've got to move with the times. But some of these ancient practices were some of the best, most intelligent.
Cold
slightly
water
understood.
immersion. Yeah, like Marcus Aurelius did cold water therapy. Sherman Marita in the 1920s used cold water with his patients for discomfort tolerance.
Wow.
So yeah, a lot of the stuff that we think we're like, that it's all new, it's actually not new at all, because we're all human. We're human. Doesn't matter if we're from tens of thousands of years ago or today.
That's right. If we didn't go through the I feel like even in just inventing warm water has just damaged us a little bit.
Yeah. And heating systems and cooling systems.
I know. And don't get me wrong, I use aircon being in Australia, especially being English. I put the aircon on, so I'm a hypocrite big time. But, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes I think back when I'm doing something and go, right, could my ancestors 10,000 years ago do this? Yes, well, if they can, well, then so can I. That's sometimes how I live life. And I don't know. Again, that was a whole rabbit hole we could go into there.
Yeah.
Why, for you then, why do you care so much? Why did you go on this journey? Let's tell us a little bit about your life on a personal level to why we're doing this today. Join us tomorrow to hear more from today's incredible guests and learn valuable insights to help you lead your own way. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you then.